So I'm going to kick off the webinar. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining our session today. Um, just as an overview, we will be answering questions about our examination. So please feel free to drop any questions that you have for us in the Q&A box below. And we also have all of the questions that you submitted upon registering for the webinar. So my name is Rosie and I am an examinations contractor here at the Ophthalmology Foundation. The Ophthalmology Foundation aims to improve global healthcare through education, especially in under-resourced countries, and it has been in operation for the past 5 years. We run several programs in education. We also run fellowships, and then our new initiative, which we're here to speak to you about today, is our examinations. The Ophthalmology Foundation is very much an international organisation with our board of directors and then our specific examinations committee, which has members worldwide. So if everyone else would like to firstly introduce themselves, Nicola, if you'd like to kick things off, Vicky, and then Ishatak.
Thank you, Rosie. My name is Nicola Quilter and I'm the Examinations Director for the Ophthalmology Foundation, and I have over 20 years experience working in international exams.
Thank you. Vicky?
My name's Vicky and I work as an examinations administrator for the Ophthalmology Foundation.
Great.
And I am Ishtiaq. I am an ophthalmologist by profession and working as a coordinator for the OF in Bangladesh chapter. I think some of the registered participants are just messaging me that they are not able to join. So I have sent them the link again. Let's see.
Have you distributed the link that I sent you this morning? You're on mute.
Just copying it and sending the invitation. I think you have to let them join or they can automatically get in the meeting. Vicky,
so your link, the link that I sent to you, only you can use. It has to be the invitation link.
Yeah, that's what I'm sending them.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. I'm just sending them again. I think we can start. As it will be recorded, we can be sending them, and whoever joins and they can join continuously throughout the meeting.
Great. Well, Nicola, I'm going to hand it over to you. I will just share the slides on my screen if you give me 1 second. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, thank you, Rosie. So as Rosie said, the Ophthalmology Foundation is an international organisation focused around education and improving the standards of ophthalmology worldwide. We're going to focus on exams for today. So next slide, please, Rosie. So the Ophthalmology Foundation works with eye care professionals, societies, organisations to enhance and provide ophthalmic education with a special focus on low resource and underserved countries. We help ophthalmologists become better teachers. We provide training for ophthalmologists through fellowships, so opportunities to go abroad and for 3 months or 6 months. And we commit to strengthening ophthalmic education with the ultimate goal of improving eye care and advancing restoration of vision for all. Next slide, please. As you can see, this is our board of directors and they're international. So they come from all different countries worldwide. And also we have lots of board members from industry as well that help facilitate our programs, including fellowships. Next slide, please. So these are our 4 key program initiatives. As you can see, we have faculty development, accreditation, fellowships, and examinations. Rosie, Vicky, myself work for examinations, and that's what we're primarily here to talk about. But as you can see, you can move through a process. We believe this process is you take the examinations, you then apply for a fellowship, you have accreditation of your department and faculty development. So these all work hand in hand. They're very separate programs, but work together. So why take these examinations? These examinations, because they serve as a critical purpose. They set and maintain higher standards in ophthalmology across the globe. And we believe that they benchmark knowledge and expertise professionals at all levels, supporting your career progression. And therefore, the career progression will then help with patient eye care. We have 2 exams annually. We have run them in March and January. Last year we ran successfully in both sittings. And we say that you can take the exam wherever you are located. We're backed as well by the Wills Eye Hospital in the US and the Wilmer Eye Institute, also in the US. And we're looking to gain support from the colleges in the UK. And we had a fantastic meeting last week with the College of Glasgow. Next slide, please. So how exams work? The exams are delivered fully online, making them accessible to everybody. Each candidate sits the exam in a controlled room in your own country, and it's monitored by a human proctor, as well as an AI platform that detects movement, noise, and inconsistencies. So we believe that this is a double level of security, making our exams one of the most secure that are being offered internationally. The exams are offered twice yearly, as I mentioned, and they're currently available in English, Chinese, French, Spanish, Portuguese, and we're just currently exploring Vietnamese. The combination of this makes them accessible, multilingual delivery, high integrity, and rigorous, but they're fair and trusted exams. Next slide, please. So the benefits. Everyone asks what the benefits are. We're introducing a new exam. You've got other exams to take with your own on your own society, and also other international exams on offer. But the benefits of our exam are significant. So they're internationally recognised, yet they do cost less than any other comparable exam. They can be taken in your own country, as I said. And we scale our fees based on the World Bank Index, so making them fair and accessible for candidates from all regions. And you'll see that we do have a reduced fee for candidates in Bangladesh. A candidate's earn points towards a IOF fellowship application, which you can apply for with or without the exams. But obviously, we say in the UK, where I am actually located, the more points you have, the more prizes are available. And so therefore, if you get points for taking an OF examination, then the more chance you have of being successful in your application of fellowships. Across both sittings as well, we offer, we offer the highest scoring candidate, the prestigious $10,000 David and Molly Pye Award. And so this year, the top passing candidate was actually a trainee from Ethiopia who was taking the exam in Rwanda. And I had the pleasure of giving him the news that he was successful, and he will get $10,000 for being the top passing candidate in clinical that he can use, and I believe he's going to use for the AAO American Academy meeting next year, and then also to stay a bit longer and have some training in one of the institutes. Passing also earns the postnominal FIOF, which is the Fellow of the International Ophthalmology Foundation. And hosts also benefit from joining our global community by benchmarking their trainees, receiving an honorary FIOF that will last 5 years after they've been hosting. We're actually, as I mentioned, in talks as well with the Royal College of Glasgow for some reciprocity, and that those talks were successful. They're being successful, and then also we plan to have talks with others in the future. Next slide, please. So as you can see, we offer 3 exams currently. We have Visual Sciences, which is 120 questions, Optics and Refraction and Instruments, which is 60 questions, and Clinical Ophthalmology, 160 questions. These exams are a single best answer with no negative marking, you'll be pleased to hear. So we did a lot of studies on male and female, who would take a guess, who wouldn't. So we actually believe it's fair that there is no negative marking. So you can move through the system. If you are not sure of one question, then you can then leave that and carry on, and then at the end go back to that question and reattempt. Next slide, please. So all of our exams and our questions are mapped to the BCSC. We have a reading list that is on our website, but this is just an example of a visual sciences question. So Rebecca Ford, who also works with the Royal College of Ophthalmologists, is our lead for visual sciences, and she writes the majority of the questions, and then they are checked by about on average 20 specialists per question. And this is a question for the visual sciences that Rebecca wrote. We're not testing language, we are testing knowledge. So you'll find that a lot of the questions are quite repetitive in the way that they're asked. So for example, this one is regarding the blood retina barrier. So we use regarding, then the topic, and it will always, 9 times out of 10, be which one of the following statements is most likely to be true. You also see down the left-hand side, there are 4, A, B, C, and D, and they are alphabetical order. So again, we're not testing language, we're testing your knowledge, and it's much easier for a trainee to read and be familiar with the process. And so once you've taken visual and optics, you should be au fait with the system and the process for clinical. Next question, please. Louisa Mayer, who's had 20 years experience in international examinations, writes the optics and refraction paper. And again, you'll see which one of the following, again, alphabetical order. And so on the system, you will select which one is correct. And that's a click of a button on the system. If you did choose a language, if you were au fait in another language, you can flip in between the two, which the system allows. And it's easily accessible. We also have photos. If you can go to the next question, please, Rosie. So Richard Bowman is in charge of the clinical. Again, you will see that we have the alphabetical order in the answers, and this one has a photograph. We can also use charts. You'll find that there are some videos. You have to be careful with videos because it depends on your bandwidth, but there will be included videos in the clinical in the upcoming exam. And so this is the type of question that you will be presented with. Next slide. So we are not a membership organisation, we're a partner organisation, and our impact is strengthened by our partnerships. We work with prestigious organisations, like I mentioned, Wills and Wilmer in the US, and we're also in partnership with the African Society of Ophthalmology, more recently COEXA, so the College of Eastern, Central, Southern Africa, and the Pan America, the Young Ophthalmology Society of India, and then also we're signing MOUs. And we're grateful that we've actually signed a memorandum of understanding with Bangladesh Society, and also other societies, the Turkish Society, Mongolia, just to mention a few. We're continuously seeking new collaborations as well to further strengthen our global reach. And these partnerships help expand our reach to ensure relevance and build stronger global community. And we like to get people involved. So people are involved in our exams committee, which is international, which also then helps to make our exams and our questions and our papers more relevant. These are a few candidate experiences, and I believe that these exams already, albeit only be going 18 months, have already made a real difference. As you can see from the candidate experience, there are many candidates in dozens of countries have taken these exams, and their careers are raising standards. They're raising standards in their career at the moment. In many underserved regions, they're helping ensure patients receive better care. And I was lucky enough to go to Orlando and meet some of the trainees that took the exam last year, and one candidate approached me and said passing the exam has really opened doors that they never thought was possible, and that's because they took the exams and they've actually been successful in their fellowship application. Next slide, please. So this is our QR code. I think in summary, we're always looking ahead. So we do have plans to reduce the cost further, increase access to underserved regions, add more fellowships, and we're also going to add some subspecialty exams from 2026. So we're looking at retina and glaucoma to introduce in September. Just importantly as well, we listen to the candidates and the trainees, colleagues. So if you have any feedback, ideas, you want to get involved, please let us know, because your input does help us improve and evolve. I think what the heart of the Ophthalmology Foundation is we stand for setting and upholding these high standards, and empowering you as professionals to grow and improve outcomes of patients. Every candidate who takes our exams becomes part of our global community, and excellence of eye care. I think all of us, Rosie, myself, Vicky, and other members of the team, we're proud of these examinations, what they've achieved so far. And we also believe that we are expanding. And as I say, we've had lots of interest from other countries, different regions, and we're seeing a trajectory of increase in participation. So it's very exciting. I really appreciate you coming on the call today and listening to what we're having to say about the exams. And if you have any questions, then we're here to help.
Great.
Thank you, Rosie.
Thank you very much, Nicola. I'd like to hand it now over to you, Ishtiaq, just to, I believe you have a few words prepared as well to share with everyone.
Yes, just let me put my lights on. It's just turning evening. Yeah, sorry. So this is an excellent opportunity, and thank all of you, Nicola, Vicky, and Rosie, for arranging it. Unfortunately, many has actually messaged me that they could not join, but I think Nicola has been recording this session, so I will be, sharing with this. And as with many things, I think the interest will grow as days goes on, and we have some experience with ICO examination. I want to tell all the participants that this is similar to ICO, and many of the people who are associated with Ophthalmology Foundation were associated with ICO, and it's pretty much similar thing. And we had a big number after 8 or 9 years once we were working with ICO, and it was nearly hitting 100. So we had 98 participants at one point. Unfortunately, the fees was raised suddenly too much for the candidates of our countries, the developing countries or least developed countries, but there were no different tier of fees for us. And that actually had a bad effect, and nearly we had it nearly stopped. So I hope that we will catch on, and there will be much interest, but people are just coming to know. I will be sharing this with all the interested students and examinees, whoever want to sit. And I think a couple of them have some questions. I don't know how you are going to answer it. So could you
Can I just say that we were obviously we're better than the ICO, I'd like to say. But we are similar. And you're right to say that a lot of people migrated over from the ICO about 5 years ago to the Ophthalmology Foundation. So we come with a lot of breadth of knowledge. Our fees are much lower. So we are not setting out to make a profit and think I'd quite like to say that we're going to make a loss over the next 5 years. But again, that's not our priority. Our priority is to raise standards of eye care. And I think we've done that in the last year. I think we will continue to do that. And I think people will recognize some faces, including mine and Vicky's, and know that we were part of the ICO. But I think, we're looking at reciprocity. We actually offer, if you have taken an ICO exam before 2022 and inclusive of 2022, then we will exempt you from elements of ours. So we're not asking you to resit something that you already know.
That was one question actually. Dr. Faria has asked that, is there any exemption if anyone has already passed ICO? So for Dr.
If you've taken ICO and passed, before 2022 and including 2022, then yes, we do exempt you. And the reason we have it up to 2022 is because we know the standard of that exam. After that, we don't know that standard, so we can't categorically say it's the same as ours. And so therefore, it is up to them. But I think if you pass visual and optics before then, or in 2022, then we will accept that and allow you to take the clinical.
Yeah, I think it will be much, I would say that easier for us to find that list. I would be trying to contact all the ICO examinees to find out who has passed before 2022 and did not give exam for the other parts, because they would be interested to complete this and sit for. One of the reasons, Nicola, I'll be frank, that one of the reasons that people in our country give, one is that fellowship, and but is a pathway to FRCS. So Glasgow and Edinburgh. So could you just emphasize a little bit? There was one question from, I think, Dr. Sarah, that is there a deadline, or when do you expect the collaboration between OF and Glasgow?
Sure. Yeah. So we've had several meetings in Glasgow. It's really positive. They are looking to have a joint connection. So reciprocity with the Ophthalmology Foundation. We are going to meet them again to talk about standards, which we believe are the same across both exams, both organizations. And then I think we'll move forward. So I think actually we'll see something in early next year, there being a reciprocity between the two organizations, and I'm quite confident of that. So therefore I think, March, taking an exam or preparing for a March exam as a trainee, I think, you could be one of the first that gains reciprocity from their part one. And I'm confident in that. So I think, yes, I think it's in Edinburgh is different. They've got other commitments at the moment. They are interested. It wasn't a no from them. So, and as everyone says, around the corner from a no is a yes. So I think that will come soon after. But our main focus at the moment is Glasgow, and that's really positive. So yes, I think that will be in place soon.
So I think we can put it in this way, that people who will be taking exams now, by the time we finish it, probably would be able to catch that pathway to sit for Glasgow.
Yes,
and hopefully
exactly.
Edinburgh.
Yes.
That's what. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So there was another question that is there any age limit for the fellowship or the examination?
There's no age limit for the exams at all. In fact, we had someone that's qualified for their training. They're a consultant practicing independently and has decided to take it just so they can monitor their standards against the rest of the world. So no age limit. There is an age limit for fellowships, and that's 40. I think, however, if you're sitting around 45, then I think, there's some leeway depending on, your experience, if you pass the exams, what you want to go, if you want to go into the remote part of Bangladesh and practice something, and then obviously, you'll step up and they'll want to train that person so that the individual can go into the remote part of Bangladesh and offer care. So I think there is a set age limit. I think we have to have that, but I think that also is slightly, movable.
Okay, so there was another question that if somebody has passed, like Royal College, we here have Bangladesh College of Physicians and Surgeons. So if anybody has passed that, all three parts of Bangladesh College of Physicians and Surgeons Fellowship, whether they would get any exempt, or in future whether there will be any collaboration. Like Royal College of Gynecologists, what they had for many years is that if somebody passed the RCOG part 1 and 2, they could finally sit for Bangladesh final part. So part 1 and part 2 are exempted for them. So in future, currently I know that we don't have anything like that, but do you have anything with other colleges, or you have any plan like that?
So if you pass any of the colleges in the UK, so Edinburgh, Glasgow, the Royal College, then you'll exempt from our visual and optics. You move straight to the clinical. We do have currently an agreement with COEXA, for example, that if they've taken their clinical, their visual and optics, they're exempt from ours, because we know they're the same standard. And they've actually stopped running theirs from this year coming, and they will take all of the Ophthalmology Foundations and then move back into their clinical. So I think, Ishtak, that is something that you and I can discuss going forward, and maybe we need to look at standards. We've signed an MOU. It's really positive. As I say, we're a collaborative organization, and that's what our main aim is. So I think I don't see there is any reason not to look into that at least.
And there is some other two question is that what is the tuition fee for IOFF for 3 months or 6 months? Is it fixed, or it changes on the institute?
Fellowship.
Yeah.
I think I don't run in fellowship, so I don't know, but I believe that for a 3-month fellowship, it's about $6,500 that you get awarded. So obviously you don't have to pay anything, and that will include your training, your flights, your accommodation, food. It depends where you go as well. Like if you're going to the UK, then I think that money is, you have to look for modest accommodation, etc. If you're going to, a lot of our trainees go to India, for example, just
Mhm.
and then obviously it's you get the same amount, but it's slightly it's going to cost you less. I
Mhm.
also think as well you have to keep in mind if you go to Australia or the UK or Germany, some of them are more observerships than they are
Yeah. Yeah.
hands-on. But then you
Mhm.
can go to places in India or Singapore or which are hands-on. But it depends on
Mhm.
regulations, depends what you want. I think a fellowship you have to, download the application form, look at what you need to upload, make sure your CV is up to date, make sure you've got a good photo, make sure you have passed some exams, because you also get points for other exams that you've passed. Make sure that you add on there your interests and your hobbies, because what you need to do is stand out from the other person. So I think, if you're looking to do a fellowship with the IOF, Ophthalmology Foundation, then you download the application, go through it, any questions, ask. But again, part of that process is taking some of the exams. They're not mandatory at the moment, Ophthalmology Foundation exams, but going forward, I think that's something that we are looking at. So again, to get ahead of the game, if you're looking for a fellowship in a year's 18 months time, then take our exams in the next 12 months, and then you're ahead of everybody else that may be looking to then have to take the exams to be able to apply for a fellowship.
Yeah, I would encourage people to take the exam, because there have been a lot of my students who went to John Hopkins. I went to New York
Yeah.
Eye Infirmary. So this is an excellent opportunity to go to big institute, and even if you want hands-on, as Nicola said, that there are some countries and institutions that offer hands-on. So there was another question that does this, if somebody passes all this part, can they sit for any job opportunity for UK? I think job opportunity is a different thing. You have to apply for GMC
It's
and that sort of thing.
GMC. Yeah. It's
Well, in
totally different. So
different
this is
countries,
not
like
a license to practice. Yeah.
this is not a license to practice. So if you want to practice in Australia, you have to give AMC. In UK, it's
Yes.
GMC. So this is different thing. But if you pass all the parts of OF, and by that time, this pathway for Glasgow FRCS, and you pass Glasgow FRCS, I think Dr. Sarah and couple of, I think 2 or 3 of our candidates already passed FRCS by passing ICO, and they are now actually doing job in UK. So this is a very
I think
good
it opens
opportunity.
doors.
It
It
opens
opens
doors.
doors. I don't
Yeah.
think it limits you. I think
Yeah.
it's more affordable now as well, other than other comparable exams, as we've discussed. So I think, excuse me, I think it also prepares you for other exams. So I think it's a good, or you could use it as a practicing tool as well as being able to achieve, the fellowships. If I've also just to go touch on it on cost, we also have a 3-way payment plan that's built into our system. So you could go on and register. It will tell you the cost of the exam, but it will split it into 3. You'll make an initial payment when you apply, and then subsequent to that, the 2 months ahead, it will give you information and the details of how to make that payment. So we're recognizing that it is a big outlay, albeit smaller than some others, to do in one go, but you can spread the cost prior to taking the exam.
So what, Nicola, I would request you to do is that, send me some flyers, soft copy. I would print it over here,
Sure.
and I would distribute it among the students. Okay, so,
Perfect.
if whatever we have discussed, if we go point by point, because somebody has asked that, could you explain more elaborately what is the process of apply, what are the benefits, and, this sort of things. So if we put something in details, so that I will share them to all the students, or mainly the institutes that have running courses.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah, no, we'll do that today and then get that over to you, Shaq.
Okay. So if anybody has any other questions, I think this covers it all. So the examiner charge, our fees are 175 for optics and refraction, 250 for the basic science, and clinical science, it's $350. And they were asking whether how they could pay it. They are going to be able to pay it by credit card, I guess.
Yeah, so online, if you go onto the system, you register online, you select the
Yeah.
exam center that you'd like to take it in, and then it will direct you to the payment process. You can pay by credit card, debit card. If you're having trouble, you can contact us and we can arrange a bank transfer. But as I say, you can go on and register and make the payment of the third of the amount. And
Okay.
then
So
the
this is
next
a
month make
this
the
is yeah.
third, and it's so I think
yeah.
yeah,
So it's
I think
sort
a
of
lot of candidates are using that at the
yeah.
moment.
So that's sort of EMI that you can divide the payment in parts. I think we lost Nicola.
We'll just give her a minute to join,
Yeah.
rejoin again.
So I think a couple of changes, those who have already given ICO, is that ICO was always um, uh, on hard paper. You have to come and MCQ sort of things, but now it's going to be online. And so somebody was asking that, can
Process
you
so much
mention the
easier.
Yeah, it should be much easier, but I think so just one question for the my knowledge also, that whether there would be any mock tests so that they can practice. It's not easy to go from papers to online, how to do those things. So will there be any mock test, or somebody if wants to just give it a try, is there any website they can log into and practice that?
Working on that for our direct website, but we do direct a lot of candidates to CyberSite to use their online portal where they can gain insight into the questions and how the exam is run, because they run their portal very much the same. So we work alongside
So,
them
so
too.
So if somebody goes to CyberSite, there would be some, say for 10 questions. So they would be just trying to figure out how to do it. Is there any example of that?
Not from us directly, not yet, but we are working on that. That is something that we've got in the pipeline.
I think Vicky, if somebody can has maybe 50 questions, so that they would get to know the hang of it, how it's done, whether they are having problem or what, before they just don't want to go on the exam day to find out how it's done.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one thing I think you can incorporate in the website also. So somebody was asking the technical requirements of the exam. So what he wanted to know, that's Dr. Rahat, is that whether they have to bring the laptop, whether they can sit in their home or do it, or they have to come to the center, and we will be providing this. I think this we'll figure out, as I was talking to Nicola, that we will figure out a center with a high-speed internet, and try to provide, if somebody has their own computer, laptop, they can bring it on. Otherwise, we'll arrange it.
So as long as the exam is taken in an approved centre, it cannot be taken at their home. It has to be in a centre. So either the centre can provide the computers, or they can provide their own laptops or iPads. A mock test is run the day before, like on the Monday or the Tuesday before the exam, and then we check all the programs and we make sure that the computer, the device, is suitable for the exam, so there's no issues on exam day.
Great. So I think we have covered most of the thing, and I would request Vicky and Nicola to provide the flyers. I would print it and I would distribute it among the students, and also I would print some, and also I would distribute the soft copies also.
That's great. We've got a couple of questions what the candidates sent in by email, asking if they can attend all 3 exams in the one sitting. A lot of centres won't allow that due to the time frame. It's like nearly 9 hours of exams. It's a long time. That's without breaks in between. So we would not suggest to anybody to take all 3 in one sitting, as it's quite time consuming, and we wouldn't want you to be unsuccessful due to fatigue, etc. So we would suggest doing visual and optics in the one sitting and then clinical in the next. But if you was to be successful in visual or optics, you're then more than welcome to take the clinical and the optics if you were to be unsuccessful in the previous exam, or the clinical and the visual in the one sitting, but not all three.
Is there any sequence like you have to sit for visual and basic, then pass and sit for clinical, or if somebody wants to sit for clinical first, can they do it?
No, so they must have passed visual and optics first before they can sit for clinical. But if they were unsuccessful in optics, they can then sit optics and clinical in the same sitting,
Mm-hmm.
and they would only get their clinical certificate if they also passed optics. So they have to do the first two and then clinical, unless you've passed the ICO prior to 2022 or COEXA. If you've passed them exams, you're more than welcome to sit the clinical. And also, if you've passed part 1 from Glasgow and part A from Edinburgh, you would be eligible to sit the clinical, and you wouldn't have to sit the visual and optics.
Okay. Any other question that was not answered? Sent to you email?
Yes, so how do they apply? So on our website, you would go to the exams page, and then you would set up a candidate's portal, and you input all your data in there, your name, address, previous experience, certificates from the ICO or Glasgow, etc., if you've passed them, and then you apply through that portal. So there's no like postage. You haven't got to post your form to us like it used to be. If you remember Ishtak, that used to be a lot of forms coming, didn't it? When you used to have nearly like 100 candidates.
Yeah.
And now it's all
common.
online. You can just apply on the portal, and you get your answers pretty much straight away. So then you're set up for the exam. You can do all of it in one sitting. Set up the portal, apply for the exam, make the payment. Some
Okay, so
question for you. Sorry, go on.
yeah. So I think we as I said, we will distribute a flyer, going more elaborate and, citing the website and, the part payment of how they can do it for registration. 1/3 they make the payments. And
Yes.
so that will be much more clear for them.
So if we send you later the exemption policy, the 3-part payment plan, and a breakdown of how to use the portal and the flyers, that should be pretty much everything that you'll need to get started.
Okay. So I think we've covered all. Anything you want to add, Rosie or Vicky?
Just thank you all very much for attending today, and we will, once the webinar recording is ready, we'll upload it to our YouTube and make sure that everyone has the link to be able to refer back to it and watch. So anyone who's registered will receive it from us whether they attended or not today.
Great.
Thank you very much, Ishtak.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you.
Thank-
Bye.
Yeah, take care.
Bye.
Bye.